Derek.
Hey, Trey.
I think we've had a podcast vacation.
Yeah, it's been a little bit.
There's been some remodeling. You're looking at these beautiful painted walls and black doors and new ceiling fans with LED lighting, manicured yard. It's a
It's been an adventure.
it's been an adventure for you. And although the Olympics are finishing up, the motocross world continued to spin on the amateur side. The pros have taken a few weeks off to get ready for this final three push and then SMX. We've got riders coming back. We've got riders leaving teams in the middle of the season. We've got amateurs that are going to make pro debuts. There's quite a bit to talk about.
Yeah, there's been a lot going on. Obviously, I've been a little absent, sick, broken wrist,
Yeah,
remodeling. There's been a lot going on. So, I guess we'll just do a mid-season recap here and
we'll catch up.
talk about everything that has been going on, and not so much as a single race
No,
rewind.
no, because we've kind of got like in the 450 side, Chase Sexton is in control. Not that he is dominating. Well, he is dominating, but he is in control, kind of his own destiny. On the 250 side, Deegan is still doing what Deegan does. There was some funny stuff on the offside with Deegan. First of all, he's in a bar, and someone bought over a Chance Hymas slogan thing on it. And I didn't read it. It was a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, why do you care? Like, what? Why? I know the customer bought it over for him, but first of all, why are you in a bar?
Yeah.
Like,
you're not even old enough to be in a bar.
Yeah.
On top of it,
why are you in a bar?
Yeah, put yourself in that situation.
But nonetheless, it's okay. I'm guessing the rest of the riders have taken a little break, train, testing. I'm guessing we'll see some contract stuff come out. But one of the biggest stories, well, there's two. It looks like Ty Masterpool has landed. The ship is going to finally land for the kid, and he's going to get that opportunity. A 2-year deal with PC.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad he deserves it. I think a lot more than some of these other guys that are on factory teams. So
that's the grind. I know the families, had their issues. We've talked about it here. I guess the big problem is, what do they do with Drew Adams? Because that kid's good.
they're gonna make another spot for him. You can guarantee it. That boy ain't going anywhere.
I think also though, am I wrong? I don't think he can actually go pro in Supercross till he turns 17, right?
No, 16.
16.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's good.
So he's fine now.
Yeah, he's just been holding off.
Okay.
I mean, get through all this amateur stuff. He hasn't been old enough, but he's now. I think the final push through Loretta's was kind of the nail in the coffin, and then they were going to move him up. So
yeah, he's good. He's a good rider. And what is it with redheads and motocross?
I don't know. I'm anxious to see him with the big boys, though.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, he's very good in the amateur scene.
Yeah.
He's dominant.
Well, he's done well. If we look north of the border, he has gone, and to get him more experience, they threw him up in Canada.
Yeah.
And he's done well. Now he is outside of the championship. He needs some help to get the championship, but he has acquitted himself well up there in that series. So if you look at on the pro side, I think he's doing okay. I think he's going to be okay.
Yeah, I don't think that he's going to fail.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do think he's going to be a top 10 guy, coming out swinging.
Oh.
So I think Unadilla, he's going to pull a top 10 because he's making his debut this weekend. So,
well, and also I don't think the time's going to be tough for him because now that Pro Sport has to run 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And he's been up in Canada. I think the 250 class, I know for a while they were running 25 plus 2 or 25 plus 1. They weren't running 30. And I think he I don't think he's going to struggle with his fitness in the 30+2.
No, I don't think at all.
Because he's already done it.
And if you look at his fatigue afterwards, there's no bodily expressions that show that he's spent.
No, the only problem he's going to have is he has raced a lot.
Yeah.
As a guy who,
I think he's going to burn out at some point.
I think he's going to
Without,
need a little break.
yeah,
He's going to need
without
a
a
break.
break, I think
Yeah.
he's going to burn out at some point, and because that's been nonstop.
Yeah.
The amateur world is nonstop.
Well, the amateur side, but when they threw him up in Canada, he literally caught a plane to get back to Loretta's just in time to catch a few laps of practice.
Yeah.
Because he was running a national up there.
Yeah.
And then had to get to Loretta's. And there's still a series that's going on up there that he's going to go continue before he makes his debut at Ironman.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm guessing
Is he coming at Ironman?
Yeah, he's.
I thought he was coming this weekend at Unadilla.
I thought it was.
I thought
Ironman.
I seen that.
Oh, maybe he will.
I could be wrong,
but I know Ironman.
Let's look it up.
But I'm curious as to will he run the futures class at SMX? Will he try to like complete that journey?
I don't know that you can
now that he's going to be
now
pro?
That you move up.
Okay, so maybe he's done with.
Yeah, I don't. I think it's just like you can't go from A back down to B.
Okay,
you know what I mean. I think by the rules you can't move back down. I don't think.
Well, he's a big boy.
Yeah.
Mitch's bikes have proven that a decent sized guy can ride them. So PC is slam full. I saw a joke that said Forkner's going to leave PC and go to HEP with Roxon.
Yeah.
But
you're right. It's at Ironman.
Speaking of HEP, the ball-headed 1970s porn star, which is a joke because he is one of the most devout religious guys there is, Shane McElrath is no longer with HEP.
No, Mad Parts, which is kind of threw me off a little bit.
They relieved him.
Yeah.
Did they relieve him because they needed the money for Colt Nichols?
I don't know. It's like I said, it threw me off just a little bit because it's Shane's been in the sport forever. It's
I saw a diagram of all the teams he's ridden for since he went to 450s. Oh my goodness, man! That guy.
It's a roster.
You want to talk about a journeyman?
Yeah,
he is a journeyman.
Yeah, he likes to bounce, and I don't know that he likes to bounce. It happens. I mean, but he's coming to the end of his career.
Well, I think it's cool that he got picked up. At least someone's giving up the opportunity because he's in a position where he's going to qualify straight into the SMX. He's going to have a chance to make some money. And really, that's what, at this point, with the way they've structured the series, earning that end-of-the-year bonus fund is kind of the thing.
Yeah, and he still has a name. I mean, it's not like he's a nobody anymore.
But he's not but let's be real. I'm gonna quote my friend Jason. These guys, they're not really worthy of factory rides.
No, his career is exhausted.
Yeah. He's still a name, but he's not worth a factory ride.
He's a name because of what he once was.
Yes.
And
we forget that was years ago.
Yeah, but some people, the younger generation probably don't even really recognize. To them, he's probably just an okay guy. But at one point, he was the guy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm glad, like you said, he got picked up. Like I said, it's the end of his career, so probably just kind of making moves at this point, and they're bringing in. I think they're just bringing in the new generation, and they're not going to get rid of Chiz, because that's a vital part. But Shane does a lot of training. He's a veteran of the sport, so he's very informational.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You figure that they were kind of like a hand-in-hand toll.
But they don't need him because they have, as you said,
they have Chiz.
And Chiz is going to be their test guy. Like, he may race some. But if you have, truthfully, if you have Colt Nichols and Roxon, you've got your star. You've got a great name with a good-looking guy. Do you need anything else?
No. I cannot wait to see Roxon on a 250.
Question on that. is that a move for them to test a 250 because Bar X is supposedly going to Yamaha next year?
I don't know, or maybe Roxon just. I truthfully think he's testing the thing. I mean,
He's just gonna have some fun, but there's got to be a motive. These guys don't do something just because.
when's the last time you seen an RMZ 250 on a track?
Well, the Bar X guys run them,
Yeah,
but
but
like at that level, the
yeah,
high
that's
level.
what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah,
Like it's they're barely getting the 450s out there, and
yeah.
to throw a 250 out, I'm sure there's some kind of intention for it. Something is behind the scenes with the RMZ 250.
Because I know they don't want to. Hep is doing an amazing job keeping that brand functional, but I just don't see. Now that I hear more stories about what Bar X is planning on doing, which also is confusing to me, how many Yamaha teams are we going to have? Like we have
Yeah.
the factory star, we have the satellite muck off club, and
Mm-hmm.
now we're going to have this Bar X team. Oh, but we also have Team Solitaire,
Uh,
which runs Yamaha.
them Yamaha bikes are where it's at right now. The 250s,
Yeah,
at least. I mean, that's what Caleb rides. I rode it. I got the opportunity to ride it at Okeechobee. That thing's an animal, and the handling is. I mean, you own one, but
yeah,
when you ride it at that level, they're it's a world of difference. So, and then the tuning capabilities. I mean, it's not surprising that these teams are going that direction because you can do so much with them on a stock platform
yeah,
versus these other like the Cowies. You know, we're still using the chips or the plug and play
yeah.
maps, and like Yamaha, like I said, you can tune that thing so specifically that it all makes sense. Where I don't know why all these other all these other manufacturers aren't
Yeah.
trying to go to that because Yamaha definitely has the competitive edge right now.
Well, I'm curious. I'm curious. The Yamaha's a good segue. I'm curious what happens with Hep, especially as the World Supercross is going through its shift, and it looks like it's going to be a 4 round series with 2 rounds in, I think, Australia, 2 in Dubai, maybe 1 in Canada. Maybe I can't remember how it is. I can't remember how they're doing it, but they're involved in that series with
Mm-hmm.
Roxon because Roxon's, well, he's getting paid.
Yeah.
They need him. They want him, and I'm not sure how that contract looks now that it's new ownership groups, la di da di da. But I'm interested to see what Hep does because I feel like Dustin, he's in this for the long haul. This is he's making a living running a race team.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he's making his bread and butter.
No, I'd love to know how he does it.
Um, and I don't know what else he's involved in, but this is his bread
Yeah.
and butter. And then as we shift to Yamaha, looks like we get Cooper Webb back this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Star and its ever growing presence. I keep hearing rumors that the team is going through a major shift and that it's going to look different. And all I can think of is the 250 team and the 450 team are going to be split up. That's the only thing I can think of. I know that there was rumors that this is one of those things we talked off air. There's a story that Deegan and Chad Reed are going to start a team at some point.
Wouldn't be surprising. I
Well,
mean,
Chad Reed's run a team, a successful team,
mm-hmm.
and Deegan has money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but I don't know how that affects Star Racing. I mean, obviously, their amateur program, they didn't kill it at Loretta's.
No.
They had some good runs, but the NSA team had decent runs too. So I'm just curious as to what that looks like. But it's exciting that we get Cooper Webb back, coming off the thumb injury. We are going to get Eli back. Whether or not he comes back at Budds Creek, Ironman, or just hops right into SMX, we're going to get him back.
His smart move would be just coming into SMX, but you think he'd want to get a little bit of time.
Yeah, since he does train kind of by
Race
himself.
time. Yeah, he's not. He doesn't have the gate time right now.
No.
I mean, I think if you look at Supercross, as much time as he spent off the bike and then comes into Supercross, he had a lot of a decent amount of bike time, but obviously it wasn't Tomac.
Yeah, we started getting the real Tomac right before his.
After he started getting gate drops.
Yeah, and then his thumb went away, and then we've lost him. And he is older, and it takes time. That as an older gentleman, that you don't just pop right back in. You know, like
No.
Trey Kennard was one of the guys he could pop right back in. But I bet you now, as Trey's gotten older, if you threw him in the lineup now, it's not going to be the same.
No. Trey's still my all-time favorite rider. I love what he's got a lot going on right now too. The All for One 41 team. He's got all kinds of media stuff going on, and he's riding again. And not to get off topic, but okay. He's got a lot of cool stuff going on. I got to talk with a guy locally here this week. We actually dug into a lot of these topics, and he's from Australia. He's got friends that know the Lawrence family really well, and he owns Citrific down here in Lake Wales. They actually sponsor HBI for a few of the Supercross rounds, and we have his graphics on Slade's number plate in my son's bedroom. Small world, but yeah, him and I got to talking about a lot of these topics, and he knows the reeds really well, and just for being the same area in Australia, it was cool to get the opportunity to meet somebody that shares our knowledge but curiosity.
Yeah.
So it's cool to, like I said, just to meet somebody in the outside world and have these conversations. But he was talking about the reeds and everything they're doing, and we got back on the subject of Deegan's will say a lot that money didn't get him to where he is. And we've talked about this too, and it amazes me because he brought this conversation up, and he's like, you can't give me that BS because the kid's very talented. And that's the first thing out of his mouth. He's like, the kid's very talented, but you can't tell me that amount of money didn't get him to where he is, because these guys have all kinds of money. They can build training facilities in their backyards, and I don't know why I got into the subject, but it brings me up to in the Reed Deegan team. Yeah. It's you think about Chad hasn't raced in years professionally, and he's still doing just fine.
Yeah.
I
don't think he would be a racer. I think he would be a manager.
Exactly, but I'm saying like this old sport money goes a long ways.
Yeah.
I've been listening to Gypsy Tales quite a bit. That the episode he did where just how much money is being made within the industry right now, and it's ridiculous.
And I want to touch on that actually. That's a great. Let's change to that. We just had Loretta's, and
we talked about that too.
But we're gonna touch on this. I'm gonna do a Trey Heath side note for a moment. Vacations are expensive. Experiences are expensive. I have friends whose son is really good at baseball. They've been to Tennessee this year, and they've been to Missouri this summer, for tournaments. He's going to be a high school senior next year. Well, there's travel.
Yep.
There's accommodations. There's food. There's the fee to get into the games. They're vacations. The father and the mother have no aspirations that their son is going pro. He's good at baseball, and it's a great experience. Do they want him to go to college? Yes. But they're not even looking, pipe dreaming that he's going to these colleges that they have been playing these tournaments at. They just want him to go to college.
Yeah.
Soccer does it. Lacrosse does it. Gymnastics does it. My daughter's horse stuff. You want to talk about expensive? Get into the equestrian world. They shipped all those horses to the Olympics on planes, by the way. So tell me what that cost.
I can't even imagine.
And the feed and the vet care and the insurance. So then people get ticked off. I'm going to say it. Pissed off. This family, they spend $10,000 to go to Loretta's. Yeah, they do. They probably do.
Easy.
But if the family is going as an experience and not as my son is going to be the next pro.
Yeah.
Guess what happens? It's a cool thing. Take your family of 4 to Disney World for a week.
Yeah,
and tell me what it costs.
I'm not going to do that. Loretta's to me it's a big money pit, and that's him and I were talking about.
Yes.
His name's Carl Watson, but we were talking about the Loretta's money pit, and it's a $15,000 trip, but if you're going there with the intentions of becoming pro, it's not going to happen.
You're screwed.
Yeah.
If you're going there as a family vacation with experience and your kid's going to have fun in the creek and they're going to go to every event that's available.
Or my kid's going to remember that he went to Loretta's.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. It has nothing to do with I'm going there to make a name for myself, because you're not.
There's 3 guys that are going pro this year from Loretta's.
I know.
Maybe 4.
You can take 10 of these riders and interview them after Loretta's here. Don't go to like the pro sport class or anything like that, but pick like 65, 5 to 9. Yeah. Take the championship guy there. Take another guy out of 250C that took a podium. Pick a handful of guys like that and ask them what they gained out of it, and it's going to be nothing when it comes to sponsorship, rides, anything of that nature. They're probably lucky if any of their sponsors congratulated them. A lot of these guys will get, even in the pro sport classes, they'll get like maybe 2 or 3 sponsors that, hey, congratulations on the win. It doesn't happen. Like, it is literally a motocross vacation.
Well, it's like the 45 class, the 45 plus class.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the gentlemen running in that class? They're bigger than me.
Yeah.
They all had jobs. Somehow, they all decided that qualifying for this race, none of them are making money from this.
No.
But somehow they all deemed it important enough that they were going to train, go to an area, go to a regional, pay the money to do both of those.
Yeah.
And then they were going to pack up their family. Hey, we're going to Loretta's we're going to rent a golf cart. We're going to pay for Wi-Fi. We're going to pay for camping, which, by the way, people complain about the cost of camping. Go to a campground.
If you're lucky enough to get camping there, that is a lottery.
And tell me how much it costs per day to camp.
Yeah.
With water and sewer, electricity. Just tell me. And then you're there for Saturday, Sunday. You're there for 8 days.
Mm-hmm.
And you race 3 times. If you really put it to it, you're on the motorcycle for 75 minutes for the week if you only run 1 class.
Yeah.
If they don't shorten your motos.
Yeah.
You're on the bike for 75 minutes and you're there for 8 days. It's not about the racing.
And there's a good 80% chance that it's going to be a mud race.
Yeah.
This year was not bad. This is probably the best Loretta's I've seen in...
Minus a couple heat advisories, it was no rain.
Yeah. The track was muddy, for practice?
In the morning.
And, but it's nothing like it's been for the past 5 years.
But I get tired of people bashing on it's expensive. And they also bash on not Racer X Production, who's the family company. Whoever owns, why is that leaving me? Come on, you're smart. Racer X Productions, who... Loretta is the group, Pro Motocross.
It's MX Sports.
MX Sports, thank you.
My throat's got something in it. I'm trying to get it out.
MX Sports. They bash on MX Sports for making money. I do kind of agree with part of the banter about the bibs. It was 90-something degrees, and they're making these guys wear bibs, and they have chest protectors on and gear and all that. I get it. I get it. But the last I recall, America is a republic.
Mm-hmm.
Capitalism is what we use in America. If people don't want to pay the cost to go to the race, they will vote with their wallet.
Mm-hmm.
I believe there were still alternates. The Reeds were alternates.
Yeah. Phil
Harris and Ashley Harris were alternates. They went.
Yeah.
When those alternates stop going and instead of 42-man gates, you get 35-man gates, the prices will change.
Yeah.
But stop bashing MX Sports Is it expensive? Yes. But I have no idea what it cost because they don't own the ranch. That's owned by the Loretta Lynn's family.
I can't even imagine what it costs to do that for the week.
Yeah. Do they make money?
Yeah, oh yeah. It's a
Yes.
business.
It's a business.
Yes.
But apparently, Fox, Oakley, Yamaha, KTM, every single motorcycle brand that is endemic to the sport has a presence there.
Mm-hmm.
There must be a reason.
It's the biggest amateur national in the world. I mean,
so if they make money, congratulations. Do they make a lot of money? I don't know. They're a private company.
mm-hmm.
We never have to see their books.
Mm-hmm.
We can guesstimate. But all these people that are bashing it, I get it, it's expensive. But if you take a family, they don't go there. There are families that go there inexpensive. I would love to see what a family that dad and son go and they go as cheap as they can, what that costs. It's still going to cost money.
Yeah.
But when the family says, hey, it's the end of summer, school starts soon, you get to play in the creek, there's a dance, they feed us, there's dinners, there's symposiums, there's fun stuff to do. We're going there for 8 days. It's a vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody thinks everybody's going there to go pro. I guarantee you, if you sat down with the 1,000 families and you ask, there probably is some Yahoo dad going, oh yeah, little Timmy in the 4 PWP shaft drive class. We're just waiting for that sponsorship from Cobra, and then we're going to sign with KTM at 65s, and he's got a 2-year contract for pro. There is a dad like that.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, they're all just there hanging out.
Yeah. It is, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's the outlet to pro. But for a handful of guys.
Yeah.
You know, it's there's guys that go pro without ever going to Loretta's. I mean, it's not a necessity. You don't have to go to Loretta's.
No, you don't have to go.
It's just there's some sponsor obligations that take you to Loretta's. I mean, it's part of the game, but like you said, most of it is a cool vacation where you get to ride dirt bikes too.
Is it a waste of money? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But so's going to Disney World for a week.
Yeah, you ain't gonna see me do that. We're going to Loretta's before we go to.
Can you
to
imagine going to Disney World and no one would look at you in the face and say,
"This is a waste of money." Yeah.
But you pack up your RV and you go to Loretta's for a week. You wasted your money.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird because no one tells you that going on an 8-day cruise is a waste of money.
No. It's society. Yeah, but you get the society that not that we live in. I mean that we all live in, but the motocross society thinks that's fantastic. But the outside world of motocross is everything that we do is a waste of money.
See, I'm conflicted. I'm conflicted because I believe it's a waste of money. I believe there are kids that shouldn't go to Loretta's. I believe mom and dad shouldn't spend the money to go to Loretta's because I hear what they say.
Yeah.
If they said, hey, we barely squeaked through areas, we got fortunate and made it into regionals, and you know what? He's earned it. We've socked it away. We're going to have some fun. We're just going to go have some fun.
Yeah.
Then I am not conflicted. When that same person says we barely squeaked through areas, we got lucky in regionals, a couple guys fell and we got in, we're going to win it. And
it's not going to happen.
Then I'm kind of like, you could barely get out of area. You got lucky at regionals. There are other regions, so just multiply all that, and where you kind of finish in regionals is kind of you're going to be further back at the national. By the way, one of the guys, I think it was a 250C class, the guy got on the podium. Just a regular dude gets on the podium. And they're like, "Are you excited?" And he's like, "I've never been on the podium before." And they're like, "Oh, cool, welcome to." He goes, "No, I've never been on the podium." And I'm thinking, wait a second. He went through an area.
Mm-hmm.
He went through a regional, and he didn't say, "Well, this is the starting point. I'm going to be signing with whoever he was riding." No, he was just like,
He's on a podium.
I'm talking to Weege.
Yeah,
that's a rarity.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen.
I agree. So, Bowen's a good example. My middle boy. We did area. He rode like third place most of the time, doing extremely well in the areas, but he fell a lot. We made it through to regionals. I didn't take him to regionals.
Yeah.
Because not because of the experiences, because it's for us it would be a huge expense, and for what? I don't think he was ready to go.
Yeah.
He would have loved to go, yes, but I don't think that he was ready for the heartbreak of not making it and or getting there and getting stomped on. And it's just for us, I do think there's a lot of people that don't think of it. They don't think it through.
Yeah.
It's at all costs our kids are going to make it to Loretta's. I'm not signing him up as an alternate. Either if you get in, we're going to go. If you don't get in, it's not worth packing up everything. And this year's been awful for us as it is. So why spend all that extra money
Yeah.
for nothing?
Well, we can go to Dade City and race this weekend.
That's what I mean. Like, we have now, since regionals and all that, we geared back, and we're just doing more fun stuff here.
Yeah.
We can do more races instead of going to Loretta's. We can focus on going to Minios, where they love Minios. They love riding the Supercross track. We can do that. We can. There was no point in us spending an absurd amount of money to pretty much put him into a mental state where yeah, I suck, or because that happens. I mean, they're kids, so I wasn't willing to do that. Where some of these parents, they don't care how their kids feel about it. They want their kid to make it, and I think that's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, because those are the same parents that would run the bumper sticker that my kid goes to Harvard. Like that it's
Yeah.
it's validation for them in their world.
It is, but they're also like, Bowen's 6 years old. Like, there's times that you could probably put him out there with the 65s on his KTM E5 and probably stomp some ass. But then they've got other days where they swear they've never been on a bike before.
But you take him to the Loretta's on a Wednesday, I think, the 50s, all the micro classes were the last race of the day.
Yeah.
5:30ish.
The worst track out there.
Tell me, well, they groomed it, they had it, but you have a very active 6-year-old. Tell me what you're doing with that kid all day long.
And to keep him from not being a kid so he can actually ride a dirt bike. See,
Yes.
we struggle with that at Dade City. We don't race until 5 at night at Dade. I mean, but for the people that don't know, these kids get to the track and they want to play with their friends. They want to be kids. They're building dirt bike tracks. Usually the parking area of Dade City is a big motocross track for toy dirt bikes.
Yeah.
And that's what our kids do. But how do you tell them no?
About we're at the National, son. You've got to sit in this RV. I know kids are playing in the creek, but you have to race at 5:30 today. And that's part of that. I like that they do it, because the kids that kind of can come through that, well, they're going to be set up for the 65s and 85s. And guess what? Then there's another level at that point.
Yeah.
So cool, your kid is focused. Awesome. Well, now they get to 85s, and maybe they're not as focused anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to go have fun. And they don't have the energy to finish the moto. But I digress. It was cool. Thank you, Racer X Productions and MX Sports. It is amazing to me that you can wake up, you can turn on YouTube, and you can watch pretty much every moto that they put on with nonstop announcing. Every race is the 3 podium winners get to speak.
Yeah.
And you can do it all day long. My dogs, we turned that on in the morning before we left for work on both TVs to help them with their numbers. And I'd come home in the afternoon and get to watch the last motos.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is so cool.
No, I truthfully love Loretta's. I mean, the aspect of it, what it is. Same with Minios. Like, Minios isn't quite as big, but it's still a big amateur national event. It's not invitational. So it's something cool that gets the kids especially to feel like appreciated. They get to be on TV. Their family around the nation gets to watch them from anywhere. I mean, when we go to Minios, we have probably 100 people tuning in, to watch our kids race. It's cool. where else do you get that?
Yeah.
At that level.
Speaking of Minios, I'm wondering if there's going to be a change. Racer Productions MX Sports made a shift this year. No pit bikes.
Yeah.
And I went to Minios last year.
It's a nightmare.
And it was sketchy.
You were there. So
I'm wondering if we're going to, because the comment this year at the end of the event, because I watched the last day, the last motos, and they were talking about the crowd control this year, the crowd itself. And Tim Cotter was like, whatever you think about Tim Cotter, I don't care. He spoke, and he's like, honestly, I think Big John said it too.
Mm-hmm.
We got rid of the pit bikes.
I think
everybody was in UTVs or golf carts.
It should be like that, because if you go to Gatorback Cycle Park for our Florida Gold Cup Winter Ams, it's no different.
There are bikes everywhere.
Yeah, it is no different. Kids on pit bikes at Gatorback, it's like the animals come out.
Yeah,
you will watch kids jumping the roads. I mean, it is absolutely out of control. We watched fights last year. We watched people running from cops, the kids.
Yeah.
Mainly. It's just my wife hates Minios because of that.
Oh, it was nuts. Like literally walking through. I would try to search for areas where I could walk where there were no vehicles.
Where it's safe, yeah, and it's sketchy taking your younger kids there that, like our 3-year-old. You really got to watch, because if they veer off the path, they're getting hit.
So I think kudos, because that's part of the experience of being able to hang out. Well, guess what? You got to hang out a little differently now. And I'm sure that ticked off a few people, but I'm guessing the majority were kind of like, man, I can walk around without getting run over.
No, it's kind of nice for the old-headed people.
So I'm wondering if we'll see a shift at Minios this year.
Yeah, and I think the only way that they're going to do it there is they're going to have to get rid of that pit bike track.
Yeah.
Because there's, Gatorback has its own little pit bike area, and then, but you got Diamondback there that people are riding that thing on pit bikes all the time during Minios, and it's an adventure for sure. But I think that'd be a shift in the right direction, is get rid of them things.
So the amateur season is done. It's weird. In the middle of summer, amateur season's done. Now we shift and get ready. There's still some more. There's Baja Bra. There's a couple regional nationals. I don't know how to term those. I guess Baja is considered a major. I'm not sure, but there's a few left. But we now get ready. The next big focus is Minios.
Yeah,
and we'll see the contracts. We'll see the kids in their new gear. We'll see the kid. Which is funny, because that's where people think there's all this money. Dude, they're giving these kids gear. They're giving them, a couple of them get bikes. But very few actually get anything. They get support.
Yeah.
So let's not lose focus of that. But on the amateur side, I thought Loretta Lynn's outstanding watching it. I enjoyed really watching some of the lower classes, just because those guys are there because they just want to ride.
That's the best racing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's some guys that on the pro sports side that are we're gonna see them pop out. I don't know where they're gonna do. The Avery Longs of the world, the Kiwi like Cole Davies.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's gonna be okay. I think this is a new experience for him too, on a new bike. Real quick, your opinion as a moto dad, your opinion on the Mike Brown hissy fit in the, was that plus 40? I don't know what class that was, where he got beat by Andrew Short at the line.
I mean, I seen the race. I didn't hear about the hissy fit, but
he did not go to the podium. He did not. He literally went straight back. He did not. I understand the competition. He's done being pro, but his competitive drive may be one of the biggest competitive drives there is. But you lost. You lost a race.
Yeah.
No one. MUN KTM is not taking your bike away. You can go back and work for Triumph next week.
Mm-hmm.
No one's taking it away. You got beat because of lap traffic. But to not go to the... There are little kids who probably don't want to go to the podium either.
Yeah.
But they go to the podium. You are a 52-year-old man. 52-year-old man who's amazing at what you do at 52 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But it's okay. You got beat by a younger person who was having fun.
Who was also extremely good.
Yes.
When
he raced
in his pro world. So,
but you're amazing at 52 years old. Just chalk it up to. But it kind of disheartened me. I'm 52 years old.
mm-hmm.
Mike Brown is one of those guys that's like in my brain saying, I don't have to quit. I'm never going to be as good as Mike Brown.
Yeah.
But I can go do stuff. And it kind of disheartened me, like, oh man, that's really piss poor.
I'm a big Mike Brown fan, so like I like you said, I just like what he does at his age, and he signed Oakley's hat at the regional, and we got to talk to him for a while. He's just a cool dude. I mean, loves what he does. He's never going to give it up till he has to.
But this was a national stage.
But yeah, this is like all eyes on deck, and
yeah,
I don't know. It's not something. That's not a good presence at all.
I mean, it's not gonna affect him. I'm sure
it's not. But
he went back to work. But if you're a parent and you're like, see, this is a sport you can do for this guy's representing your dad, and don't be like him. Don't be like, nope. If you finish second and you get beat at the line, you better get your butt up to the podium.
Yeah,
it's just a bad look.
Yeah, I agree.
In my opinion. So
it is what it is.
What else you got?
I don't know. We've been rambling all over God's creation here.
That's all right. We touched the things going on. I mean, pro motocross took a break. The Olympics were kind of hot and heavy. Have you watched any Olympics?
No, I don't watch Olympics.
I haven't watched an event. I will tell you there is a sport that a motocross guy who may be deciding that he doesn't want to motocross anymore, that kayak downhill side-by-side racing, they literally had a starting gate and they drop the gate and the dudes fall into the river and they race down.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. So I saw that sport. I'm like,
yeah,
okay.
I didn't watch that. I had the talk with my wife. I'm like, I got all these sports that are in the Olympics: skateboarding,
breakdancing.
Yeah, that of all things.
Breakdancing.
I said, where's motocross?
Too expensive. They don't. That's why. Because auto racing has asked that for years.
And she's like, that's what she's like. Well, why isn't it? I said, well, for one, I guarantee that they don't have the area for a track.
Yeah.
You would have to have a good chunk of land to build some kind of track there. But I mean, America is kind of the Olympics for motorsports.
Well, they do motocross the nations, which I honestly believe. Touch on that. It's coming up soon in September, I believe. But why do we have to do it every year? We're at a point, wouldn't it be cooler if we did it maybe every other year, every
every Olympic year, every 4 years?
But maybe because we want to keep it. I know Infront does it because they want to make a pile of money, but maybe every other year. That way, guys.
It builds more excitement.
Yeah, and people want to be on the team, and I may not have another opportunity. If I don't do it this year, I may not have a chance.
Yeah.
And so no, but I think it's coming up, and Australia could be the team to beat this year. Germany's going to have a good team. America, are we sending Sexton, Plessinger, and Deegan? I don't think Deegan's going to do it because I think Deegan's going to have some surgery at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know who we send.
It seems like they never make choices of who we think it would be.
Well, the funniest thing is Deegan is the flag-waving American. But we might not get him 2 years in a row for Motocross the Nations. Like the epitome of racing for your country. So to me, it's just a show. Like, stop waving the flag. Like, it's okay. Like, it's cool. I don't care if a rider races Motocross the Nations. I think it's an honor. It's kind of like being on the Ryder Cup team in golf, or, in the Olympics, the reason those people choose to be on the Olympics is it's once every 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
The Ryder Cup is every 2 years. So there's a oh my God, this is an honor. For a motocross guy, like Deegan's thinking, I'll be on it when I'm on 450.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. I watched Tomac. He didn't do it. I watched Cooper Webb not do it. I watched James Stewart not do it. I watched Ricky not. it's not that important. And I think that's the thing where I say, like, maybe do it every 2 years.
Yeah, I don't think it's an honor anymore. I mean, it is, but it's not.
Well, with
It's
31 races in a regular season,
yeah.
now we have 32. Really, like, great.
The guys are
One more race.
exhausted.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not it's a fun race, but is it really that fun? A lot of them's muddy. I mean,
And it costs them money.
and yeah, and you got to most of them are flying around the world.
Yeah.
I think when we have it here, when it's at Redbud, that's a big deal.
Yeah, but it's just another
For
national.
us here.
It's just another
Yeah,
national then.
but I don't know. I don't think it's that great. Like I love motocross nations, but it's like I truthfully don't go out of my way to watch it.
But without America, it's just an MXGP.
Yeah, and if it was just like you said, if it was once every 4 years, it would be so much more intriguing,
Yeah.
and I think it would just break it up. It would be one of those events that, like the Olympics, that everybody can't wait to watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I don't watch the Olympics. I don't care to watch them at all. Nothing in there fascinates me.
You don't want to watch artistic gymnastics?
No.
Or synchronized swimming?
No, I don't want to watch any of it. But
I mean, there's some. I have not watched any, but there are some things that intrigue me because, as a sports fan, you're never going to see these events. When was the last time you got to watch archery? Never.
no, I mean, I used to do it all the time, so it's really not intriguing.
But you watch those guys shoot the guns, and we're like, oh, it's cool. They're literally shooting to a target like this big.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
it's cool stuff. Don't get me wrong. It's just not my thing.
I agree.
And I'm pretty sure my only thing is motocross. But if we get so much racing here with a 31 round series that I do get my fill of motocross. And then when we're not watching that, my boys are racing. I mean, that's pretty much what consumes our life. But if we have a cool race like that, like I used to love the Monster Cup race. That was probably one of my favorite races of all time. And then it went out the window. But like cool one-off races like that are kind of my thing.
I'm actually excited. I enjoyed, and I don't think I was the only one. I enjoyed the SMX rounds last year.
Yeah, no, I loved them.
And I know people complained about different. I thought Charlotte was cool for its own reason. I thought it was cool how they made jumps over those lanes, and I'm interested to see how they do that this year because as much as people complained that was the worst of the three tracks, well, we're going back.
Mm-hmm.
So if it was your worst one or you didn't like it, you better figure it out. But guess what? In the car racing world, every driver has a track they dislike, but they have to go race that track every year. So we're going to go there. But we're also going to go to Texas this year, and we're going to go to Charlotte, Las Vegas on the drag strip. Well, I think it's cool. I'm actually looking forward to those because they are a little different.
Mm-hmm.
They're a little different.
I love SMX. Like I think it's a great incorporation. But I'm a huge Supercross guy. Like, if everything could be Supercross, I would be so content.
And see, I'm more of an outdoor guy.
Yeah, I mean it takes all kinds. Yeah. But when you put the two together like that, to me, it's more Supercross. It's stadium racing, and that's always been my riding style too. Is arena cross and the stadium style racing. Like I love those tracks. I love riding them. That's where my mindset has been. And like with Caleb, we're everything that we're doing. He was bummed out about Loretta's, but he wasn't because he's like, my goal's Supercross. I'm like, well, I can't blame you for that because that was always my goal. I mean, Supercross is where it's at.
That's cool. I mean, it's the time where you get to be like the rock star. The lights come up, you're in the stadium, and everybody there. It's kind of like when I used to play tennis and I got the opportunity to play in stadium courts. Everybody sitting in that stadium was watching me against that dude.
Yeah.
And in Supercross, there's 22 of you, but everybody is focused on that area.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to a motocross race, it's kind of like going to a car race. If you're in an oval, everybody can see. But if you go to a road course race, you kind of pick a corner.
Yeah, and that's what you want.
And you watch that, and you go to a different section. I like the motocross because I like the brutality of the sport, the fitness-wise. The artistry of Supercross, I mean, having the chance to go see it up close and personal now, I have an appreciation for a guy landing on the downside hitting a pocket and immediately jumping again.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a motocross racer, I don't care if you go to Dade City or Gatorback, you hit one of the big jumps. Very rarely do you immediately
hit
another jump. There's a relaxation, where in Supercross they don't have that, and that's where the cool part of Supercross is. And it's pretty. It's pretty.
Yeah.
You can be clean. You can wear your nice shoes and your nice clothes. You go to motocross, that's the grit. But where does every kid start riding? Motocross.
Motocross.
That is the heartbeat of the sport.
But majority of them, the goal is Supercross.
Yeah,
because that's just it's the show.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's the one thing that separates us from everywhere. You get all these people from other countries that want to come in and race Supercross just because it's the show.
And I think that's where SMX fits that bill, because as much as they were Supercrossy outdoor, that Chicago track, it was someone got to watch a motocross race in a stadium last year.
Mm-hmm.
Now there were some big jumps, but this is kind of what. Okay, so the track gets rough and the guys' bikes are bouncing when they're coming into braking zones, and okay, that's what a motocross is. So maybe not only do we get people to want to be involved in the sport, we also get people to understand the other side of that sport.
Mm-hmm.
And think about it, packing up your normal wife and kids and saying, we're going to go outside. It's 92 degrees today. We're going to go outside and we're going to go to this local track and we're going to watch these kids ride around, and they're going to blow dust on us, and it might storm, and your shoes are going to don't wear your good shoes, or take them to Ford Field and let them sit in an air conditioned controlled tube and watch guys do the same thing.
Yeah.
But it's not the same thing, but watch do the same thing. And I think it's awesome. I think the sport itself is cool. I'm looking forward to it. But we have Unadilla this weekend. Is there Dade City? No, there's no Dade City. There's a race Sunday at Dade City.
Yeah,
the Florida Motocross.
Florida Series is there this weekend. We won't be there, obviously. We have a back to school pool party at our house. I'm overjoyed, but
Florida's heading back to school.
Yeah, back to school Monday, but we're just taking a break anyway. I mean, I'm kind of between the sickness I've been fighting for a week, and my bikes are still dirty in the garage from the last race, just because I've been so under the weather. It's been ridiculous, but just kind of taking a break and let the kids be kids for a weekend, and then we'll get back to it.
Well, we apologize for the large break, but it just happened. We got caught with our pants down with the fact that we missed a race. Derek was sick. We didn't get to even talk about Washougal. We were going to do something with Loretta's, and between sickness and just different things and scheduling, and
still got to work.
Yeah, but Unadilla is tomorrow, and we will talk about it early next week.
Yeah, we'll definitely be back. I mean, we got our pole deck back. It makes things a little bit easier too, and kids are back in school, so I think that's been my biggest struggle is we lost a babysitter, so it's kind of hard to sit down and just have a conversation for an hour.
Now you can throw them in a classroom and then go learn.
Yeah, and we can back to being our normal self.
But this is kind of a catch up, throw out, not really rants, but just thought processes. You set me alone for a couple weeks, and I just get thoughts running through my head of things.
I could do this for the next 2 hours, I'm sure.
Yeah. But thank you. Episode 61 of the Beyond the Curve DMX podcast. We will wrap up these next 3 races. Our next break should not be there. Is a break between the final round of motocross and the first round of SMX.
Mm-hmm.
We might take a break then. That'll give us time to start thinking about what we're going to discuss during the off season on the amateur side as we prepare for some of that stuff and heading into Supercross 2025.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that. I'm always excited for Supercross. So, hoping to get some new guests on here as we start making some shift changes here and get back into the normal swing and get us on a good schedule again and bring everybody the good content.
Very good. Well, for Derek Schaefer, the owner of 827MX and also the owner of DBS Custom Fabrication and Handyman Services, I am Trey Heath with Michelle and Trey Real Estate. This has been episode 61 of the Beyond the Curve DMX podcast. and we will see you all next week. Bye bye.